Hi friends, my name is Kelly. Welcome to my channel. So glad that you're here today. I'm going to be wrapping up everything I read so far in January. So what I've read this year so far. The first book is Winterfrost, and this is a fun middle grade fantasy by Michelle Houts, and I really enjoyed it. It's about a 12-year-old girl who ends up being left to take care of her younger sibling when there's some crisis over Christmas. And so this takes place right after Christmas, and there is a legend that the little creatures called Niece will wreak havoc if you don't leave out some pudding for them over Christmas. And the little girl's little sister ends up going missing. So we follow the hijinks of this. Everything ends up okay. I loved learning a little bit about some of the cultural aspects of Denmark through the story. I really loved the feelings of family forgiveness and love, and I loved that the young girl was very resilient and was able to figure things out without much adult help. Although it seemed odd to me that someone would leave a 12-year-old alone with a baby. I think that culture really doesn't hover as much as we do in America over children. And so I really enjoyed this story and I recommend it. It's definitely a favorite so far this month. The next book I finished was The Black Tulip by Alexander Dumas. This was a buddy read with Courtney Reads, and I really enjoyed doing that with her. My favorite part of this book was the true historical references to the DeWitt brothers and learning a little bit more of the culture of that time as the author saw it, of course. I don't think Dumas always got all of his details right with historical context, but I really enjoyed how the historical details weaved in. That was my favorite part. I would say that the pacing was one of the best things about the book. Great pacing. It drug a little bit in the middle, got a little bit repetitive. We do have a little bit of a moralistic ending, everything wrapped up in a tidy bow too, but I didn't mind that at all. I really loved the romance in it. It was sweet, and I would recommend it to anyone that would be interested in a little bit of a historical read. I think that my favorite part of the story, so we deal with the real DeWitt brothers who, their beginning of their story in real life, the DeWitt brothers were killed because of their involvement with kind of talking against William of Orange. And when they pass away, that's when really all the details after there are pretty fictionalized. So one of the DeWitt brothers, his fictional godson, gets arrested because having some of the correspondence that he didn't know what was in it in his house from his godfather, who wrote things against William of Orange in this stuff. So he's sent to jail. And this man, Cornelius, who is sent to jail, he is obsessed with creating a black tulip. It is basically the love of his life. Well, in the process of going to this jail, he meets another more of a human variety love of his life. And the story is about them, about the black tulip. My favorite character was the tulip. I couldn't wait to find out what happened. We have a bad guy who was very interesting to get in his head. I don't really want to say anything about him though, because I don't want to ruin it for you if you're going to read it. But getting in his head was so intriguing. So I recommend it. I think Courtney definitely liked The Count of Monte Cristo better. I would say I probably do too. I'm not a fan of Three Musketeers, so I say it's close in my estimation to Count of Monte Cristo, and you can read it a heck of a lot faster because it's only about 230 pages. The next book that I finished was Anne of the Island, third book in the Anne series. I've been reading these with my daughter, and I forgot how much I love this one. I always love the anecdotes of the different townspeople where Anne is, and it's just, I think Ellen Montgomery had a gift to just give you these anecdotes that don't seem boring or outside of the point of the story. They don't really have anything necessarily to do sometimes with Anne's overarching themes. I just love how Anne is so beautifully flawed, and she learns how wrong she is about her ideals of love. And I just love how the story ends and how she realizes what true love really is. And it's really the person that you're going to want to grow old with. So if you haven't read the Anne series, shame on you. No, really, it's not necessarily for everyone, but I just love the Anne series so much. I always will. All right, the next book I finished was Moonlocket by Peter Bunzl. This is the second book in the Cogheart series, and the Cogheart world is one in which these automatons that wind up talk to you and are very integrated in the world. This is supposed to be taking place in Victorian London, so it's a fictionalized version of that world, and it is a middle grade fantasy. I love the best friendship from the main young lady and her best friend. They've been through so much together, and they get to go through so much more. There's so much about family forgiveness and a found family, and your family is who you make of it. And I really think that this is a good one for kids to read. I would say that I don't think the fallout for the main character going against her father's wishes was quite enough. She did suffer for not listening, but I feel like there needed to be a little bit more meaningful talks with the dad and daughter, maybe about her inability to listen and really understand what he was saying. But I still think it's a good one because there are a lot of good messages of friendship and resilience. And that is just a common theme. Is I read another kind of middle grade book. This is Changes for Felicity. I said in my TBR that I was going to be revisiting this as part of the reading prompt for the readathon that I'm doing this month. And so this is revisiting books from my childhood, and this is right as the Revolutionary War is getting ready to start up. Felicity has a best friend whose father is a loyalist, and I think it's a good book to deal with grief. If a kid needs kind of a first experience of reading about grief, this is a really good one to do. Gentle but honest look at grief. You're hearing my kids yell at each other in the background, sorry. And then the other thing I have to say about this book is that it really tries to see from a sympathetic viewpoint of both sides. Obviously, we wanted the patriots to be the patriots, and we wanted America to be independent, but it looked at the loyalists and how there were some that were just stating their opinion and being strong, and yet they ended up getting in a lot of trouble with the patriots that didn't agree with them. So I love how it deals with this, and it's an American Girl book from my childhood. What more can I say? I hope you guys are doing well and enjoying your reads so far this month, and I hope that you read a lot. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.